Every time I use a productivity app, after a few months or weeks, I just find that there's a feature missing. Over the last few years, I've used lots of different apps, like Microsoft To Do, Google Calendar and Tasks, as well as Notion and Notion Calendar. And as of today, I'm using a mix of Google Calendar and Microsoft To Do to keep everything organized. And after exhausting all of my options, it just hit me. I'm a programmer and I should be developing my own apps to solve my own problems. As an intermediate coder who've only used Python and C# with Unity, I felt a bit limited to build cross-platform apps. So then I just asked Claude, which framework should I learn? And it responded with Flutter. But as you know, taking the first response of an LLM might not be the wisest idea, so I've kept doing some research. And in this short video, I'm going through the journey that allowed me to choose a tech stack that I'm now comfortable building my app with. So you might be exactly like me, and the first language you learned was Python. And in which case, if you wanted to build an app or a game, you had to learn Pygame or a similar library. But then, once you've learned it, you've already figured out that it was for small-scale projects like my first game here, and not for real apps that you'll make users pay for. But then my attention went into something else, and more towards game engines like Unity, Unreal Engine, and Godot. So I've taught myself how to use Unity and C#, but after a while, it just seemed impossible to build different UIs for mobile and laptop. And on top of that, you have to figure out the web version of the game engine you chose. So to sum up this, although my experience with game engines in general wasn't perfect, obviously because I wasn't using them for the right use, there was an interesting takeaway here. The tool you choose must offer great developer experience. So in Unity, all I had to do to test my game or app was plug in my iPhone, install an app, as easy as that. Now, back on our main quest. Remember when I said you shouldn't take suggestion of an LLM and just apply them directly? Well, maybe I was wrong. I was getting closer at defining which features should the tech stack have, and as you know, a problem well defined is a problem half solved. We have already defined two problems we should be solving. The first one being, after writing the code, we have to adapt it for every platform we want to run the app on. And the second problem was to be able to see changes on the fly of the app we're coding, which is going to make our lives so much easier while designing and prototyping. So after looking at the main page of Flutter, I've just realized that I should have followed the LLM suggestion from the beginning. From what I can see and read, performance is never an issue with Flutter, and now the only nitty-gritty detail I have to take care of is the syntax. And after looking at some Dart code, I thought to myself that I was incredibly lucky. As an intermediate coder who've only used Python and C# with Unity, Dart, the programming language created by Google, was very similar to a mix of both. After a few weeks of learning how Flutter specifically works, I'm now building my AI to-do list app, and I'm pretty proud of the progress so far. I just have to figure out which AI I'm gonna use for my API calls, and how to integrate every task with Google Calendar so the synchronization is really fast compared to most apps. Or at least that's what I noticed when I used TickTick. I hope this video saved you some time by giving you some of the practical knowledge I've got while trying to build my app. And if you want to see how this app turns out, make sure to subscribe.